All right, listen up, because this is important. Mechanics all over Europe are practically screaming from the rooftops. They've put together a list of 15 cars they are begging you, yes you, not to buy in 2026. And look, we're not talking about a squeaky door or a glitchy radio here. We're talking about flaws so bad, one single trip to the garage could cost you more than the car is even worth.
Yeah, this quote from our source material just hits different, doesn't it? Financial time bombs. That's what the people who actually work on these cars are calling them. Think about that for a second. It's not just about being unreliable. It's about potentially making the single most expensive mistake you can make with your money.
So, let me ask you, is the car you're dreaming about on this list? You're definitely going to want to stick around for this, because the next few minutes could literally save you thousands of dollars and a world of pain.
And just to be crystal clear, this isn't some list from a glossy car magazine. Nope. This comes straight from the trenches, from the mechanics who get their hands dirty every single day, seeing the same cars get towed in over and over with the same wallet-destroying problems. Okay, enough talk. Let's get into it. We're going to kick off the countdown with numbers 15 down to 8. We'll move through these pretty fast, and I promise you're going to start seeing a scary pattern emerge real quick. All right, kicking things off at number 15, it's the Fiat 500X. You know, it's got that cool Italian style for sure. But for a lot of owners, what it really delivered was a giant headache, all thanks to its 1.3-liter multi-jet diesel engine.
And here's where things get crazy. Fiat tells you the timing chain should last well over 150,000 kilometers. But what are mechanics actually seeing? Total catastrophic failure at around 60,000 kilometers. And the fix? Oh, it's just a brutal 14-hour job. They have to pull the entire engine out. Unbelievable.
All right, let's rapid fire the next few because they form a pretty sorry group. At number 14, the Nissan Juke. That CVT transmission, yeah, it's known to just give up the ghost before 50,000 kilometers. Then at 13, the Citroën C4 Picasso. Get this, its transmission actuator fails like clockwork every 40,000 kilometers. Coming in at 12, the Range Rover Evoque with a timing chain that stretches out before you even hit 80,000 kilometers. And rounding out this pack at 11, the BMW X1, suffering from the exact same timing chain problem, but even earlier at just 40,000 kilometers. You seen the pattern yet? Okay, at number 10, we have the Opel Crossland. Looks like a decent, affordable little SUV, right? Well, under that hood lies a dark secret, the infamous 1.2-liter PureTech engine. This thing is the source of so many expensive headaches, and it all comes down to one very bad design decision. And that bad decision is something called a wet timing belt. So instead of a normal dry belt, this one literally runs inside the engine, swimming in hot oil. The idea sounded good on paper. Less friction, quieter engine. But in the real world, it turned into a ticking time bomb. And trust me, this isn't the last time we're going to hear about it today. So here's how this nightmare unfolds. It's actually pretty simple. First, the belt starts to basically dissolve in the hot engine oil. Then little bits of it flake off and clog up everything. The oil pump, the channels, you name it. The engine gets starved of lubrication and boom, catastrophic, total engine failure. It's that bad. All right, let's finish off this first block of cars. At number 9, we've got the Mercedes A-Class. That 1.3-liter engine it shares with Renault, well, it's famous for leaky head gaskets before it even hits 30,000 kilometers. Seriously. And at number 8, the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Super stylish, right? But its 1.4-liter multi-air engine has this super fragile hydraulic part that dies before 50,000 kilometers. And you can't just fix it, you have to replace the whole expensive unit.
Okay, take a deep breath, because we are now entering the zone of the truly notorious offenders. From number 7 down to 4, the problems get bigger, the bills get scarier, and the warnings from mechanics get louder.
Cracking the top 7 is the Jeep Renegade. It's got that rugged, adventurous look, but its repair history is just a mess. Mechanics are constantly dealing with cooling system failures, leaky hoses, busted thermostats, all before 40,000 kilometers. And don't even get me started on its 9-speed automatic transmission. It's jerky, unpredictable, and just loves to fail. Next up at number 6 is a car you see everywhere, the Renault Captur. But being popular doesn't make it reliable. That 1.3-liter petrol engine, yep, the same one from the Mercedes, has the same head gasket failures before 30,000 kilometers. And if you go for the diesel, you've got clogged particle filters to look forward to. Oh, and the efficient dual-clutch transmission? Yeah, it's another well-known money pit. And here we are in the top 5.
Kicking it off is the 4th-gen Ford Focus. And this one's a real heartbreaker. Its 1.0-liter EcoBoost engine won all sorts of awards for being so efficient. But mechanics know the truth. It has a nasty habit of overheating, which leads to cracked cylinder heads and, well, a dead engine. A perfect example of how an award-winning design can be an absolute liability for owners. And that's not even counting its notoriously finicky electronics. Sliding into the number 4 spot is the Peugeot 308. And what's its big fatal flaw? Take a wild guess. Yep, it's another victim of that dreaded 1.2-liter PureTech engine and its self-destructing wet timing belt. The fact that this same engine is in so many popular cars from Peugeot, Citroën, and Opel, it just shows you how huge and devastating this one single design flaw really is. Okay, here we go. The top 3. The worst of the worst. These are the cars that mechanics don't just dislike, they hate them. These are the ones they get passionate about, the ones they urgently warn their own friends and family to stay away from. These are the biggest financial risks on 4 wheels for 2026. Our bronze medalist of bad buys is the Jeep Wrangler. Now hold on, this one's a little different. It's not that it's just poorly made. The problem here is a giant, massive disconnect between what this vehicle is and what people think it is. It's built for one thing, but 99% of owners use it for something completely different. This quote just says it all. The Wrangler is a tool. It's a hardcore, purpose-built off-roading machine. But what happens when you use it to run to the grocery store and sit in city traffic? Its super heavy-duty parts wear out in bizarre, expensive ways they were never designed for. This is what leads to things like the terrifying death wobble, a violent shaking of the front end that happens on perfectly smooth roads. For a normal driver, it's a financial nightmare waiting to happen. All right, the silver medal, the number 2 car to avoid, is the BMW 5 Series, a true symbol of German engineering, luxury, and, unfortunately, eye-wateringly expensive repair bills. The big problem here is what mechanics call a domino effect, where one tiny, cheap part fails and starts a chain reaction that ends with a massive bill. So check this out. It all starts with one little plastic hose in the cooling system. It costs next to nothing, but over time it gets brittle, and it cracks. That failure takes out the water pump. Now the engine's overheating. And just like that, you've got serious engine damage and a repair bill that's easily going to top 3,000 euros. All from one cheap piece of plastic. It's insane. And here it is, the moment you've been waiting for, the number 1 car that mechanics across Europe are practically on their knees begging you not to buy. It's the Dodge Dart. This car isn't just bad. Mechanics say it's a masterclass in failure. I mean, just look at the verdict. The transmission, unpredictable. It literally gets stuck in one gear. The electronics, a parade of warning lights for no reason. It's the poster child for how terrible integration between the engine, the transmission, and the computers can absolutely ruin a car. So after all that doom and gloom, what's the takeaway? What can you actually do? It's pretty simple, really. Do your homework. That fancy badge on the front or the cool design means absolutely nothing if the car is an engineering disaster. You've got to dig deeper, read the owner forums, and most importantly, listen to the people who are under the hoods of these cars every single day. But now I want to hear from you. Have you been burned by one of these cars? Maybe you know someone who has a horror story. Jump into the comments and share your experience. Seriously, your story might be the one thing that stops someone else from making a huge, expensive mistake. Let's help each other out.